Hi, welcome to Kiefer's casting coach. You shouldn't try to love someone else if you cannot love yourself. So now that I'm at the point where I'm not being cocky, but I do love myself now.
Because you took care of yourself, bro. You actually changed yourself.
I work to be proud of myself, right? So
guys, welcome to another YouTube video. So real quick, are you hitting a fat loss plateau or a training plateau, or maybe straight up you just feel like you're in a rut? Then this video is gonna be for you. I'm gonna show you how Tyler, this guy I worked with, went from 24% body fat to 10% body fat. And the craziest thing is he's eating more food than he was before, and he's still lean, 10% body fat with abs. He has increased confidence, and he didn't do any roids or starving himself or something stupid like weird fad diet. Because if you've ever been on a diet before where you eat less food, maybe you do a ton of cardio and you just feel like you have a sticking point, this is gonna help bring more awareness to what you need to do in order to hit past that plateau. Because if you're looking for a quick fix, then yes, like this video will still be valuable. However, I want you to flip your mindset and remember, quick fixes are quick fixes. It's not gonna probably work for the long run. So it's exactly what we're gonna talk about in this video. Like, it wasn't fast, but it was also amazing result. And he's still sustaining results almost after a year. It's about a lifestyle change. It's not about just doing something really fast just to get it. Show you how we did it fast, but if you want to increase your confidence, you want to feel better, you want to get abs this summer, you want to look good, you want to feel good, lose the chub, we're gonna dive into it, baby, so let's go. So the first thing we did for Tyler was we did an assessment, or I like to call it a character rebirth. You gotta get really, really clear on his goal, the time frame around his goal, setting SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relative, and time bound. A lot of guys that I've helped in the past, and maybe this has been you too, but a lot of guys get really, really excited starting a new program, they want to do something, and they jump off the cliff and they move with so much speed, which is good, but sometimes you can fall off and it's going to hurt you in the long run. So him and I discussed clear goals can we define. How much weight do you want to lose that is realistic in the first fat loss phase, and then start slower. For him, I think Ty, he was like maybe smoking some weed and didn't really have the best habits. So I said, you don't need to cut cold turkey, but in the first week, instead of, for example, smoking weed every single day, can we smoke 5 times in 1 week, the second week, smoke 4 times, and then build up the momentum. Also, what we did is we looked at his lifestyle. At work, did he move a lot? Which he did. He wasn't that sedentary, so that plays an important role as well. Another really important thing is look at training age. So what I mean by training age is, how does he feel in the gym? Does he feel like he's more intermediate? Does he feel beginner in certain movements and exercises? Because then we can look at how much volume, how many reps, how many sets we need to push in his training. Depends on how he responds. But we don't need to do anything crazy like do deadlifts right off the bat if he's not comfortable with doing that movement. Another important thing we did as well is we looked at weekly check-ins. So every Friday he checked in like everybody else inside the program. But this check-in is for me to hold him accountable. So I could look at his stress, I could look at his sleep, I could look at his pumps, I could look at his satiety throughout the week. You have to ask yourself these questions too. Every week, ask yourself, how do I feel? Am I performing good? Is my sleep good? So overall, we did a lifestyle assessment, character rebirth. We started working on his mindset. I'll kind of get into a little bit later. And we have to focus on development rather than performance right now, which means in my term, development, building momentum so that he can build that up and then focus on performance and focus on the nitty gritty details. Whew. Also, I just finished a crazy chest workout. If you guys want to see more in-depth chest workouts with me mic'd up, pushing weight, explaining certain things, let me know, because I'm down to do that. If you want to subscribe to Sam's channel, you can as well, but it's a bunch of girly stuff.
Maybe they want to see girly stuff.
Boys, we must focus. Don't focus on the booty.
I took a few notes here, I'm gonna read it off, but the first thing we started to do was track his macronutrients, his protein, carbs, and fat. But I told him to start tracking foods that he would normally eat day to day when he first started with me, to see if I could find any unhealthy eating habits or foods that he thought was healthy but weren't, and then tell him, let's replace this bad food with this good food. So you can do that yourself too. It works really well. You might be able to track your macros and your calories and think, I don't really feel full today. even though I'm in a caloric deficit, but I'm eating pizza pops, but I should still be able to lose fat because you're eating less calories than what your body needs. So you can try to find the foods that have any sort of trigger points with your digestion, etc. That's what we really looked at. But we started him off at 2,300 calories, and I got him to weigh in every single day. So the reason why I got him to weigh in every day was because I could take his weekly average in weight and make sure he was losing around 1% body weight per week. If he didn't lose weight, then we would cut his calories by 10% off his, last week he ate 2,300. If he didn't lose any weight, his weekly average weight didn't go down, then I would cut his calories by another 10%. Guys, so I see this on the counter and I start thinking, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Like, dude, she's got bride stickers, man. She's got bride stickers. Holy smokes. I can't wait to marry Sam. Like, she's my dream girl, but holy smokes, bro. I start thinking about a wedding. I'm like, bro, it's just like one big party to spend a lot of money. I think most of us know that nutrition is very important in a fat loss phase. And you should not be eating the bad stuff and be eating good stuff. What's more important is having expectations, right? If you still want to fit in your favorite chocolate bar every single day and lose weight, you can still do that. But the expectations we had for Kilty was, rather than eating a chocolate bar that's 300 to 400 calories, I'd rather him utilize those calories to have food that would keep him very satiated, full, cravings. And that's when I told him to stick to the single ingredient power foods. So this is what I've talked about in my content before. These foods are, for example, it's like chicken, it's beef, it's potato, it's eggs. So these foods are in its natural form, and it's gonna help, Kilty stay full. However, expectation-wise though, I just told him, dude, you can still go out once or twice a week, but you have to track your food and try to fit in as much as you can. So he went to Mucho Burrito, I think twice a week, and he was eating Mucho Burrito and he was getting leaner. It's about making work, it's about being flexible. So he had flexible days, flexible dieting where he could fit in a little bit of his favorite foods, but it wasn't daily. Now, another important factor was focusing on his training. Now, I always like to say, I like to put more of an emphasis on nutrition in a fat loss phase. However, training is still important. You still have to break down the muscle, you have to let it repair, you have to let your body know that I want to utilize the muscle so that I can keep the muscle in a fat loss phase, etc. I'm not gonna get too much into it. However, as you can see here, I'm gonna show you guys, I'm just on the computer. A lot of the times, I gave him like these rep ranges. So you can see like 8 to 10, 12 to 15 here, 12 to 15, 15 to 20. Now, the exercises within the workout are actually pretty simple. We're not doing anything crazy. However, we're focusing on linear progression and hypertrophy. Some of the exercises here are 8 to 10 reps. It's a rep range, or 12 to 15, 15 to 20. And I'm telling him, if you have 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, the goal here is to do set 1, set 2, set 3 for 8 reps at, let's say, 50 pounds on a certain exercise. And then you're gonna work your way up to hitting 10 reps, the top rep number for all 3 sets, and then you're gonna increase your weight by 5 pounds on a machine or a dumbbell. Now, if it's a single target rep, if I'm telling him to do 3 sets of 10 reps, the goal here is to really focus on form, because form is another area of progression where you can get really good at, and also intensity. So if I'm telling him to do 3 sets of 10 reps and he hits all 3 sets for 10 reps, then he can go into the exercise next week, doing this same exercise next week, and then up the weight again by 5 pounds on a dumbbell or a machine, or if he's doing barbell, 5 to 10%. So, well, you fucking the whole stack,
100. He's my business coach to help me make more content and to help me impact more people's lives. So this guy is Mr. Know-It-All.
If you've ever gotten an opener or an annoying message from this guy, it's because I told him to send it.
2 Ukrainians, 1 gym. Plateaus. So in his second fat loss phase, he didn't actually lose any weight, and that's normal. Usually when you start getting leaner, you're trying to focus on losing some fat tissue. You'll lose weight quite quickly at the beginning, and that's just due to water weight going down. And then as the weeks progressed, it got harder and harder. So after that's why you usually have to aim for a maintenance phase or like a kind of like a deload phase to give your body a whole break, eat some more calories, take a break. So what was interesting though was for 3 to 4 weeks, he didn't actually lose any weight. However, body composition can sometimes change. So meaning the photos when he was checking in. So sometimes if you don't lose weight and you're looking in the mirror, don't worry about it. Review your body composition and your health metrics. So what I noticed with Kilty, he had high stress and poor sleep management. So I told him, I was like, bro, fucking deal with the sleep, deal with the stress. And then after 3 to 4 weeks, he dropped like 5 pounds. So plateaus are going to come up. Sometimes you can't control outside circumstances with life, but you can control how you react to it. Another thing too is we focus on refeeds. So once in the second fat loss phase, I was giving him 100 to 150 grams of carbs once or twice per week to again refuel him, his body, and that's what I said about nutrition. But then what we focused on was upping his EEE, or his exercise energy expenditure. So I got him to do a little bit more cardio because he was already walking a lot of work, but I just said, let's do a little bit more. And that worked well for him, because what most people do is they just start eating a lot less food and then they fucking slam cardio and then they feel like shit and they wonder why their hormones are always bouncing up and down. But is the mindset aspect. It's one of the most important things that we focused on in order to get him to the next level. Conditioning, shape, abs, feeling more confident in himself, because the one thing he had to change was he had to change his fixed mindset to a growth mindset. One of the things we focused on as well was getting him to accept that discomfort is okay, to seek discomfort. It's one of the rules I always talk about, because in order to truly have something that you want, there's going to be a little bit of discomfort in order to get there, and that's totally okay. So I always told him too, is motivation is a feeling, and we have to focus on discipline, because discipline's an action. So you might have days or weeks where you're not feeling motivated, but if you can somehow stay disciplined throughout your day-to-day efforts, then literally weeks are going to pass and then you're going to be at a place where you never thought you'd be before. So mindset is so important, you guys. It's something that it sounds so woo-woo to talk about, like, ooh, like be positive. Like, you don't always have to be a positive guy 100% of the time, but you just have to realize that you have control over your thoughts. Your thoughts don't need to dictate how you feel. Like, you can really start to think about what you've been thinking about, and are these thoughts benefiting me, or are they slowing me down, right? Observe your thoughts. So mindset's huge. But anyways, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you got some value out of it. And yeah, I mean, follow for more content, you guys. I'm an online coach. I'm just documenting my journey, competing and having fun and getting married and building my business and just enjoying life. So I appreciate you watching these videos. Appreciate your support, and let's keep going, baby. We're aiming for like 5K subscribers by the end of the year of 2025. So we'll see if I can get there. Later.